Crypto Week, referring to the U.S. House of Representatives designated legislative push running from July 14th to July 18th, 2025. During this intense week of deliberations, lawmakers are focusing on three pivotal cryptocurrency bills. One, the Genius Act. Two, Digital Asset Marketing Clarity Act. And three, the Anti-CBDC Surveillance Act. Guys, we have Crypto Week coming up. And that's exactly what we need to talk about because Bitcoin is pushing past 118,000, almost 119,000 as we speak and as I film this video. Crypto Week is coming up this week, July 14th all the way to July 18th, and it will have a major effect on crypto. Is crypto pumping prior to this for some sort of buy the rumor, sell the news event? Or some sort of insider information as far as what is going to get passed? Well, yes and no. I'm going to explain why. First things first, I'm going to ask you to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn post notifications on, and I'm also going to talk about what is to come and what I expect to happen in crypto as well as the overall market and possibly GameStop as well. Watch until the end of the video, like the video. Let's get into it. First things first, Hyperbit is a stock I just covered recently. A crypto stock, okay? Since I've covered it, it's up 35%, and I talked about it on Thursday. That is a very short period. It was up 21% on Friday. And you can see that the weekly candles are just picking up with tons of volume now pouring into the stock, at least for this stock with a very, very, very small float. A lot of volume is coming in, okay? If you don't know, very brief breakdown. Hyperbit Technologies is a public crypto mining company focused on Dogecoin, Litecoin, and other digital assets using renewable hydropower and high-efficiency mining rigs to keep operations lean and profitable. And they are doing three main things. One, they're mining crypto, Doge, Litecoin, and others. And they're doing this with next-gen ASICs at low cost. Two, they're building a crypto treasury by acquiring Bitcoin and other assets through a credit facility. And three, they are positioning for growth by reinvesting mining profits into more rigs, infrastructure, and potential acquisitions. So yes, it's an early stage asset-backed crypto play on the crypto ecosystem, offering investors exposure to both crypto mining and long-term digital asset accumulation without needing to manage wallets or keys. Okay. Keep an eye on this one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. We then move on to Bitcoin crypto as a whole. What is happening coming into Crypto Week? Well, if you didn't know, there was a few people over on X, which was formerly known as Twitter, who were boasting about their short positions right around 97,000 to 110,000. Okay, so basically in this region at the top of the fib level, after we got a double top on Bitcoin, after we sort of did the same thing where we came up to this back in December, then in January, early February, got rejected twice, came up again. This was a very similar pattern to the recent cycle Bitcoin has played through, and they thought they called the top. Well, we saw about 100 million times 10 worth of liquidations of short sellers after Bitcoin broke back above these key levels. And this big candlestick from this high that you saw was basically short positions being wiped out, short positions covering after accepting the loss on these positions. So we had about $1 billion worth of short positions being covered. And again, a lot of these positions, once you get margin called or are once just closing and covering, have a little bit of a time period to exit their positions. So could we see more upside? Absolutely. That is a yes. We could see more upside on Bitcoin. As far as when the shorts cover, will there be follow through? Yes. I think people are jumping into Bitcoin, and I think we broke above key levels. First things first, we're at 118, almost 119. Back here, I've called out for a push to 122K. If we broke back above 111,000, we are on our way to 122K minimum. Okay, I'll stick by that 122K. Do I think that is a top? Well, if we see momentum follow through when we push past 122, meaning looking at volume and a couple other factors, I do believe Bitcoin's going to come up and test 130,000, and that will be a major psychological level. If we get above that, we could absolutely go to 165,000 and possibly 200,000 plus this cycle by the end of the year. Now, I know that seems out of the woods, but if you take a look at Bitcoin on the logarithmic scale, weekly time frame, Bitcoin power law corridor, it respects these ranges very, very heavily. And you can see we are finally just brushing into the red region, which I would call the sell region. Now, does that mean we sell right when we get in this region like we saw back here? Well, no, not necessarily. But you saw the same thing happen back here as well. We couldn't really hold it. So what do we need? We need heavy, heavy momentum follow through. And no matter the narrative, we do need to see volatility come in to the upside. We need to see bulls completely take over. Here is a very similar thing we saw back here, where bulls actually took over, and you saw there wasn't selling pressure until this was November when we entered the region. There wasn't really a top in Bitcoin until April. Okay, so we saw a long period of time into the top of this region before selling off. Same thing back in the 2017 cycle. We actually broke into the region in May, and we didn't see a top until about December. Okay, this is exactly what I'm telling you by the end of 2025, why you could see massive moves if we just continued this trajectory towards the end of the year. You could see a top above 300,000 is also possible. Even if that seems crazy, it is not crazy, especially depending on the adoption that we get for Bitcoin. Putting that out there, what does that mean for altcoins? Lottery sucks. What is going on with Bonk? As many of you know, I'm a big holder of Bonk, and I do think it's looking very good. One, we are trading between key levels that I have right here on the chart. You can see about 402650. Okay, watch that level. And then the support 2085. At this point, we did break above an ascending resistance level and are building a full daily candle inside of it. I think we are prepping and legging up for a explosive move that will crush the next 3 or 4 resistance levels. Same thing goes for XRP. We are at $2.84 currently. Again, things could fall and the cycle could be over, and this could have just been a small short squeeze on Bitcoin and markets could crash. But the SPY also has a lot to do with what is going to happen in the crypto space, and I'll talk about the overall market in 1 second and a possibility that we have. One thing I want to point out, though, is GameStop. I want to talk about GameStop. I want to talk about short squeeze plays because short squeeze plays move alongside alts, and we have a couple examples of this. One right here, November of 2024, when things started to kick off. Just one example with XRP. November 2024. Let's find November 2024 right here. I had it on the chart, right? Very similar pattern, very similar to what's going on. We had a massive buildup from GameStop basically coming down from 20 bucks all the way to $35, simply off of a little bit of a melt up. Simply off short sellers getting wrecked in plays like Bitcoin, crypto plays like Bitcoin. Another scenario, this is January of 2021, altcoins, right? Look at Dogecoin, look what it did. Simple. You know what GameStop and AMC did back in 2021 as well. Didn't realize I was on logarithmic scale. You realize what these did in January of 2021 as well. We melt up into a major squeeze. And it might be hard to tell because of the bond offerings and all of the volatility we're seeing. But we are actually in a melt up. However, if you want, however way you want to look at it, we have been melting up basically since early 2024. This is raising the floor. No matter the volatility you see out of it, we are setting up for an explosive move, and we have been melting up, even though we look at the day-to-day price action and kind of get fogged. Okay, so that is one thing to note. SPY, what is going on with the SPY? Well, a possible scenario is the Fed releases more losses. Markets overreact coming into the next Fed meeting towards the end of July, which is July 30th and 31st. During this time period, if markets correct, this will be a better thing. Reason being, this is the only reason or the only way, in my opinion, Powell will shift his monetary stance or his policy stance at all. In other words, if we correct, then he will say, I am going to cut rates. It might not be at the meeting, and it probably won't be at the meeting. But if he says we will indefinitely confirm cut rates in September or August, September, right? then the markets will skyrocket off of this news shortly after. Now, given rate cuts are probably priced in, but again, once the news is officially announced, you will see an overreaction, at least temporarily, in which case all of these short squeezes, alt squeezes could take longer than anticipated if we have to wait for this whole thing to play out. We also want to note it's very healthy for the SPY to see something around this, a correction before moving higher. This would actually be a perfect correction. This correction would take us, in my opinion, down to 598 or right around that range, and it'd be about a 4.5 to 6% correction depending on how low we go, which is very healthy for the market. Then we would have a strong recovery with bulls taking over and possibly cooking more shorts who enter into the correction. On top of that, the SPY has also experienced this entire leg up, just like Bitcoin, a short squeeze. Okay, if you don't know, during this time period, shorts were adding on at the highest rate that we have seen in quite a long time. They got squeezed out of their positions as well. Now, if we look from a fundamental perspective and just take out the theories, the SPY has gotten a very, very bullish push over the last couple of weeks. You can see we came from 592 all the way up to 626, 628 or so. Now, this candle, this sort of doji indecision candle that we're seeing right now on the weekly time frame points out a beautiful picture. And it's an interesting one. Not a lot of times you get these candles, especially on the S&P 500. What this sets up for is more than likely a possible pullback or bull trap. Here's why. This is showing that the bulls are possibly running out of steam, or that the price pushed so high, but bulls couldn't sustain the move. Therefore, you didn't get a body candle to the upside or body candle to close at the top like you did up here or up here. It also shows that bulls kind of held their own right around the 616 to 618 level. However, how long are they going to hold this? Once we see weakness, bears are likely going to stack in. We saw a very similar candle back here in May of 2024, where just following that, we saw a decent little correction on the SPY. Okay, with that being said, watch for a possible correction. In the least case, what is the smallest correction we're probably going to get? Well, it's to the nearest support level, which is around 615.50 to 613.50. Okay, that would be a small correction, which I think we need a larger one, but it's possible we only see a smaller one. Ultimately, next week is setting up for more so a correction on the SPY. Does it have to happen? No. What can happen is we could also sell off, and this could be a bull trap, and bulls could take over immediately and push us past 630. Anything above 630, the market's going to get very interesting, because I see a large gap between 630 and almost that 700 level, or 692, I should say, before the SPY gets any sort of top or something along the lines of that. So we could possibly begin sort of a sell-off in late August, September, depending on the earnings season that comes out, all this other stuff. We have a lot of factors that are factoring in. But let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Is this just the beginning of another explosive move, higher explosive altcoin season, explosive crypto season? Or is this a sort of fake out and we're going to feel a little bit euphoric, and then people are going to bag hold for way longer than they anticipated? Okay, you see these bag holders from November, right, haven't really been bag holding that long, okay? You really understand what bag holding means when you have to hold for about 4 years. So be very, very, very careful, okay? Take a look at the Dogecoin bag holders from back in 2021. Had to wait all the way until about now. About December of 2024, right? So that's quite a long time to bag hold. Just be careful, and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I had some of them set up, but we had some more crypto short position liquidations happening today, and that is beyond the big players that we saw. We saw way more liquidations happen today as well, smaller liquidations, right? Market makers hunted these people out. and we are going to continue squeezing until they are all gone, and possibly even higher than that. But again, we do have crypto week, so it'll be fun. Guys, hopefully you enjoyed watching or found value out of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed your weekend. I love you all. Make sure to join my Discord server. It's the top link in the description of the video. Discord private community where we talk stocks and crypto in there all day long. If you're not in, just join a group chat with like-minded people who want to become financially free like yourself. And if it's something that takes you a little bit of oomph to bite the bullet on, just test it out one time. I'm pretty certain that one trade is going to pay for Discord for life. But again, I can't guarantee anything. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't give financial advice. I would just say join my server, guys. That is it. I love you all. God bless. Lottery Stocks out.